Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Y'all supposed to be fired up. Y'all young. Stereotypically, I'm one of those folks shouldn't be here. I grew up in the inner city of Chicago on welfare. Both my parents were alcoholics. I got a 14 on the ACT, but I got accepted into the University of Illinois through an educational opportunities program. Figured out school, got 2 degrees, which I don't let define me. My company is called Affirmations in Action because nothing happens in your life unless you take the appropriate action. So for the rest of the morning, every time I say affirmation, I need you all to say action. Affirmation. Action. Affirmation. Action. Affirmation. Action. Before we get started, I need you to give me a moment of silence. Bring in the positive spirit of somebody who's helped you get here today. The positive spirit of somebody who's helped you get here today. Please, a quick moment of silence. Thank you. I don't keep young people silent long because you all don't do silence well. Y'all already start thinking, how long are we going to be quiet? That's a nice outfit he got on. He kind of big. Whose spirit did you bring in the room? Whose spirit? Anybody? Yes. Father, okay. Anybody else? Brother, anybody else? Because whatever, yes. Okay. Whatever spirit you brought into the room, always keep that spirit with you because life is going to test you. Life is supposed to test you. As you go through life, it weeds you out at different phases in your life. You notice you go from the 8th grade when you're a superstar to a freshman. Y'all do that in this academy. You start here, you can't lift a backpack because y'all got crazy rules to me. So I'm glad y'all do it, but I don't understand it. But you go to become a freshman in college. Then you rise up to be a senior. Then you become a first-year graduate student. Then you become a 4th-year graduate student, or ultimately whatever you choose to follow. Just remember, life is supposed to test you. The people on Facebook, I laugh at them all the time because it's complicated. Anytime you interact with somebody else, it's going to be complicated. So don't stop expecting life to be easy. It's not going to be an easy thing at all. Affirmation. Action. Affirmation. Action. Affirmation. Action. Couple quick ground rules. 1, we agree to disagree. My way isn't the only way. Your way isn't the only way. You don't get to define things for other people. You speak for yourself. Then you disagree without being disagreeable. I don't care how you feel about black folks, just don't kill them. Don't care how you feel about people who are gay, just don't kill them. Please, please don't kill them. Anybody a sports fan in here? Favorite sport? Favorite team? Favorite sport? Team? I don't know. Okay. Anybody else? Favorite sport? Favorite sport? Okay. Their best days are behind them, but yeah. Anybody else have a favorite sport? They had a good year when they had Walter. Have you noticed that in sports, you can have the most heated arguments ever and still remain the best of friends? You can argue about any and everything. I committed a crime when I was in college. They hollering, "Where's my laptop? Where's my laptop?" But we're still friends. I stole that. I didn't do it for real. That was Cam Newton, but wherever he would go, they would holler, "Where's my laptop?" But you remain friends. In America now, if we debate any different topic, we can become mortal enemies. And it doesn't have to be that way. Again, agree to disagree and then disagree without being disagreeable. It's not that difficult. We don't speak for everybody, we just speak for ourselves and we stay out of trouble. If I offend you, and by the way, I say this every time. Most people don't listen, but if I offend you, not my intention, you get to pull me to the side after I'm done and say, "Steve, what did you mean when you said?" Because people bring their own perceptions into situations, then that perception becomes your reality. I did a presentation in Missouri one time, and a fly landed on me. I had a Karate Kid Mr. Miyagi moment. I grabbed the fly, threw it down, and stepped on it, and the lady in the front row hollered, "Oh my God, you just killed one of God's creatures." It's like, lady, I killed a fly. I sent a message to the animal kingdom. Slow fly lands on big black guy, slow fly dies. Have you noticed no other flies have landed on me? Message sent. We're a country of immigrants opposed to immigration. If I sent everybody back to where they came from, the Native Americans would have a whole lot of space. All of y'all got to go somewhere. Where you going? Trace your roots. Where's your family from? Okay. By the way, we got a stereotype about Mexicans. We say they lazy, but we also say they taking all our jobs. Now you got to choose one. They can't do both. They can't do both. Seriously, they can't do both. Don't call me lazy and then say I'm taking all your jobs at the same time. Because I be working awfully hard. Where's your family from? No, trace them. Trace them back to, that's as far as you can trace them. Where's your family from? Where's your family from? Don't be scared. Where's your family from? Okay. How much of that do you know? How much of your own history do you know? When we talk about diversity, oftentimes we are talking about those people. But actually, we all represent those people at some point or another. Anybody here left-handed? And it's always one righty at least, lefty at least, who raises their right hand. Anybody not from Colorado? Anybody prefer basketball to football? Football to basketball? Anybody the oldest child? I had a kid once who said, well, I'm not as old as my parents. Don't say anything else. You've embarrassed your school. Okay. Anybody middle child? Youngest child. And I could keep going, but at some point, everybody in this room is going to be part of diversity. If this room was full of white men, we still have a room full of diversity. So let's make a diversity a win-win conversation as opposed to win-lose. Affirmation. 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 And I'm not used to being up on the stage, so I am so scared I'm going to fall off this stage. And that's what y'all would do, too, laugh at me. I'd be the highlight of the conference. The speaker fell off the stage. We're a country that demands first-class prisons but accepts second-class inner-city schools. We put a man on the moon in the 60s, and it took us to the 90s to figure out we could put wheels on a suitcase. That cell phone y'all use, that cell phone is turned into crack for the younger generation. Y'all can't function without that cell phone. You live a life like this. My phone is a phone. At some point, y'all made my phone obsolete because y'all laughed at people with flip phones. I thought I was on Star Trek when I had that flip phone. Boop, Captain. Boop. When I first started, I had 9 numbers in my phone. 5 of those numbers had my last name. You know, since I started speaking, I had to add other people to my phone. But most of the people in your phone, a lot of you all don't even know them. You're carrying around a lot of dead weight. It's hard to soar with eagles when you all are running with turkeys. Somebody call you like, I don't know you. When y'all meet people, especially the younger people, y'all put them instantly in your phone. I laugh because I'm still old school. I meet you, you on a napkin. You are a piece of paper. You got to earn your way into my phone. No, I'm not putting you in my phone. Sure, who are you? Quick exercise. Those who can, shake out your arms. Fold them. Shake them out again. Put the other arm on top. Fold them with the other arm on top. You sure? Put them down. We folded our arms the way we've always folded our arms. I asked you to do something different and put the other arm on top. Most of you started flailing away somehow or another. It destroyed your equilibrium. But actually, this room looks different from here than it does from here. Sometimes you have to do something just a little bit differently. If you walk to school and work, walk in a different direction. If you drive every day, you take the same route, take a different route sometimes, just so you get a feel that something is different out here in the world. Something is different. We all fear the unknown, by the way. Half of our fears are because it's just unknown. As a young boy, I was scared of the dark. But then something good happened in the dark. And so the dark became my friend. When something good happens, people told me, well, you're not like the rest of them, Steve. Yes, I am. I'm like all of them. But they felt good around me. I made them comfortable. I lived on a floor with 55 guys at the University of Illinois. 5 of us were actively involved with that floor. Myself and my roommate a little bit more. But we got to know folks, just hanging out, talking. And it's amazing what a conversation will do for you. A little conversation. He starts talking to me about Mexico. I start talking to him about Chicago. You may like, man, they're not shooting everybody? Not everybody. 2 out of 3? No, I'm back in Chicago. I hadn't lived in Chicago in 40 years. And people thought I was strange just because I spoke to people. Because I speak to anybody who makes eye contact with me. Hi. They grabbing guns and don't shoot me, just let me say hi. Affirmation. 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 Anybody here tired? Honestly, tell me, who's tired? What do you tend to not do the night before that makes a lot of you tired? Young people, the hardest lesson for you to learn is when to go to bed at night. You're in a room full of people, everybody's tired, but nobody wants to leave first. And as soon as the first person says, I'm out of here, me too, me too, me too. You're in class. You're in class. You have a rough day. As soon as the teacher says, I'll see you Friday. All right, let's go. For all these toys we have, your brain is still the ultimate computer. Junk in and junk out. The cell phone and all these other things, Facebook, Instagram, what else y'all do? Snapchat, how many? What else? Instagram. Because I only had 3 apps on my phone. Y'all can't get me like that. Because all of those things are distractions. They distract you from what you should be doing. So like reality TV. They scripted it, but it's reality TV. And people believe it. So, affirmation. 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 Again, this is the ultimate computer. If you program it correctly, it'll never let you down. Quick exercise, and this is really going to be hard in this room. Identify everything in this room. It's hard to find a different color. That's pink. Identify everything, and I hope you find something because I just made up a color. Close your eyes. Now identify everything in this room that's, man, this is really hard in this room. Purple. You can open your eyes. I know that pink, everybody was like. But again, whatever you focus on is what you see. Have you ever looked for something and you couldn't find it and it was right there? I looked for my cell phone one day, and I know I'm getting closer to being a senior citizen, so I had what they call a senior moment. I was looking for my cell phone, and I was on it. Where is my phone? Steve, I think it's on your ear. But whatever you focus on is what you see. Change your focus, you change what you see. So if you always focus on the negatives of a situation, that's the only thing you're going to see. If you focus on the positives, you can find something positive in everything that happens to you. Man, I got shot. I ain't dead. Affirmation. 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 Now, pray for me, because I'm trying to do something electronically. Okay. I don't know how to get rid of this one. All righty. Try it again. Well, all right. Take 20 seconds and read that. Count how many times you find the letter F as in Frank. F as in Frank, you've got 20 seconds. Keep it to yourself now. Keep it to yourself. All righty. See, I'm messing up. I'm ruined. It won't do it for me. If it takes that long every time, I'm going to be in trouble. I want you to tell me how many F's you found, but don't keep raising your hand. Just raise your hand when I get to the number of F's that you found. Any of you found one F? 2 F's? 3 F's? 4 F's? Anybody find more than 4? 5 F's? There are 6 F's in this statement. Most of you missed one of the F's in the word of on the second line. There's 2 ofs and of on the bottom line. Finish, file, scientific. Now, I've done this enough to know that you need to read this now because you think I lied to you. So go ahead and read it another 20, 30 times because those F's didn't move. They were right there. Now, I don't get into the explanation of why you don't see those 3 little F's. It's something to do with the word just being small. But again, whatever you focus on is what you see. Y'all believe me? Let me try to get rid of them. Are y'all anticipating me now? Okay. Don't make me think I'm going crazy up here. Affirmation. 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 Couple quick things about diversity. 1, it's about understanding cultural differences, but it has nothing to do with bashing white men. Again, if this room was full of white men, there'd still be a wealth of diversity in this room. Some of them would be gay, some would be overweight, the list goes on. It is about hearing a variety of perspectives. Has nothing to do with being politically correct. Any of you familiar with political correctness? Why y'all laugh? What does political correctness mean to you? Yes. Well, all right. Stalin? I didn't know that. All right. I'm going to get in trouble, say something about Stalin, so I'm going to leave him alone. I'm leave him alone. But political correctness keeps us from moving forward. You need to be able to speak what you really mean. And again, everybody doesn't have to agree with you. It's okay for us to have a disagreement. It's okay for me not to agree with you. When you listen to people, try to walk away with a better understanding of the other side. You know how you feel. If you're a Democrat and somebody else is a Republican, listen to the Republican, listen to the Democrat, but walk away with a better understanding of the other side. People used to always ask me, why do black people sit together in the cafeteria? Paying no attention to a cafeteria full of white folks. None. Why do you sit together with other white folks? Because we know them. We sit with people we know. What I look like going to sit with you and I don't know you? Security. table 10. But once I know you, hopefully I'm always welcome there. In college, there were 2 separate tables. I had a floor table and the Black Student Union table. And I was the type who would rotate one meal with the floor, one meal with the Black Student Union. And it was amazing how they treated me differently depending on what table I was at. When I sat with the Black Student Union, feeling black today, huh, Steve? When I sat with the floor, oh, Steve, you don't want to sit with us. Can I just eat this cheeseburger? That's all I want to do is just eat this cheeseburger. But I learned that once you start talking to people, you knock down these walls. You knock down these walls. There was a guy on my floor. He was, I don't know what he was, but he was an expert with plastic. He could make his room look 3 times bigger with how he put plastic up on his walls. I said, I don't understand it. Just do it to my room. Just fix mine up. I don't know what you did, but do it for me. There was another guy in my room who was like, what was that Belushi character on Animal House? What was his name? No, but I mean the character he played. Pluto? He was like Pluto. He was always drunk. He always had a 5th of whiskey in his hand. And I pulled him to the side one day. I said, stop doing this, man. You are not these people's entertainment. They are laughing at you. They're not laughing with you all the time. And he came back to me later. He said, man, thank you. Because nobody would ever tell me not to get drunk every day. I mean, he's drinking little guy fall out sometime. Boop. But he never expected this black guy to come up and be the one to tell him that his behavior left a lot to be desired. Affirmation. Action. Affirmation. Action. Affirmation. Action. 4 things, again, about diversity. 1, normal is relative. What's normal for me as a 59-year-old from Chicago may not be normal from you from where? Normal, where you from? What's normal for me, again, as a 59-year-old from Chicago may not be normal for you from where? Ohio. I'm going to leave you alone. I get in trouble. Normal for you from where? From where? But we're both from Chicago, but the potential exists for there to be a world apart in that city. Doesn't make either one of our normals wrong, just makes them different. There's no problem with being different, and we have to stop making different mean deficient, or we have to assimilate. As you notice, I don't assimilate well. And it costs me, but I don't assimilate well. Secondly, we agree to disagree again. Disagree without being disagreeable. And finally, my way of looking at the world isn't the only way. You're entitled to your way of looking at the world. I can challenge it, but it's going to be your way. Affirmation. Action. Affirmation. Action. Affirmation. Action. One thing before I forget, and I've been forgetting this all the time. The brain has a tendency to try to make true everything that you say that comes after the word I am. For instance, I am intelligent. The brain would try to find a way to make that come true if you do it enough. Repeat after me. I am blessed, optimistic, destined for success, peaceful, grateful, healthy, inspired, prosperous, kind, strong, motivated. I could go on, but we'd be here a while. Affirmation. 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 We all have to be a little uncomfortable for eventually all of us to be comfortable. As long as you stay in your comfort zones, you're not getting any better at this. But the minute you step outside your comfort zone, we used to have a gay bar in Champaign, Champaign, Illinois, but they had a straight night. And so we go to the gay bar on straight night. But if somebody bumped into you, woo, you get all nervous. After a while, you realize, what? But you have to come out of your comfort zone. Couple quick stories. One, my daughter, who was about 6 or 7 years old at the time, we were in a supermarket. We ran into a white woman who was with her son, and he was all perplexed at black folks down the road in Greeley. He was perplexed. But she told her son something that I never forgot. She said, God just left them in the oven too long. And at first I was walking away, then, I can't walk away from this. And I went back and said, ma'am, I understand that's a difficult conversation to have, but you could have told them, people are just different, et cetera, et cetera. But if one of us had to have a deficiency, why didn't you tell him he pulled you out the oven early? It's not a fight, miss. You just, another thing. They called me to school because my youngest daughter didn't know what a lime was. L-I-M-E, that thing they put in drinks. I said, well, she doesn't know what that is because we don't do limes in my house. Well, I'm just worried about it because it's unusual for somebody not to know what a lime is. I said, you know what a chitlin is? So, you pretty stupid. I should call your mother. Don't you ever call me back in this school, take me from my job for this. Ever. Because depending on where we are, we're surprised people don't know stuff that just comes natural to us. But again, everybody's not from Chicago. Everybody's not from Milwaukee. Everybody's not from San Antonio. Affirmation. Action. Affirmation. Action. Affirmation. We have to acknowledge the cultural filters that we view life through. School, magazines, TV shows, wherever you get your information from. Try to get it from a variety of sources so that you understand what filters you're using in your life. If you only get your information from one source, and right now it's crazy if you only get your information from one source, you don't know what to believe. Trump to convince me ain't nothing real. Nothing. Fake news. Fake news. I said, okay, fake news. Y'all fake. We always need to put ourselves in somebody else's place. As a man, I will never know as much about being a woman as a woman, but I can relate to some things. I have two daughters, had 2 wives, and I play softball. I used to always have to argue with guys about saying things, you playing like a bitch, you playing like a woman. Hey man, I got two daughters. Steve, this ain't the place for this. This is not the place, Mr. Diversity. I said, just want to make a point, that's all. Let's play ball, let's go. But I took the time just to plant that seed with them so that they would think about what they were doing. It didn't help, but I tried. Imagine if we were all kids in this room. Kids play together from sun up till sundown till somebody teaches them not to. Some of you time-out babies are a little rough. But kids like other people. They just don't like to share. Mine. That's what I remember. Mine. Mine. Now stop and let's share. Mine. We also need media balance. And again, it's harder today because certain stations focus on certain things. But if you listen to certain channels, you get different perspectives on the news. But now people only get their news from certain places, so it gets even harder to change your viewpoint. White folks have a culture too. And like I said earlier, how much of your history do you know? When I ask you to trace your roots back to where you come from so that you can turn the diversity dialogue into a win-win dialogue, you have something to gain from this. It's not what's being taken away from me. It's what can I gain? And there's an awful lot to be gained. We have to turn it into win-win. It's not a black and white conversation. America turns everything into black and white. Where are those lefties again? Any lefties in this room? Where they at? Did y'all have to write at those right-handed desks? You writing all... And the teacher writes on your report card, poor penmanship. But you so nice, you never say anything. You be like, if you put me at a desk so I could write, I'd have excellent penmanship. Steve, your daughter cussed out the teacher for saying she had poor penmanship. Insecure people make themselves feel good by making other people feel bad. All that cyberbullying and stuff, those are insecure people. trying to make me feel bad. And you can't make me feel bad on by cyberbullying me. I'm not going to read it. Seriously, young kids feel like they have to mess with the internet and all that. I'm not reading it. If she wrote something horrible about me, why am I going to read that? Steve is this, and this. Steve, they dogging you out on the internet. Hope they have fun. Hope they have fun. Because I'm not going to read it. No. I don't do anything that hurts my spirit. Like my sister, how many of y'all watch horror movies? How many of y'all into horror movies? I don't understand it at all. No, I am not going to watch a horror movie because I travel a lot. I am not going to watch a horror movie and I'm in a hotel, miscellaneous hotel. They knock on my door. Steve Birdine, yes. No. No. I don't do anything that hurts I can't run. I can't fight. I can't swim. I can't climb. No, I have no superhero tendencies. None. I watch Jurassic Park because I'm relatively certain I won't run into a raptor. I'm pretty certain. And some guy told me, well, there are raptors around the corner. Okay, I'm not going around the corner. But I'm pretty certain I won't run into that big dinosaur. And my friends say, why, you watch Jurassic Park? I don't know why. I do watch Jurassic, I love it. Watch the same movies all the time, cry at the appropriate time. I love Rudy, the little football movie. Who's the mild man now, Rudy? Oh, man. It's just, oh, man. Look, be looking around, I'm sorry. Fellas, let me ask y'all a question. When's the last time y'all cried? I always have to ask the men this. What's the last time you cried? Last time you cried? He keep looking at him like, if you don't, no, don't tell me why. I don't need, because men always filter through why they cried. Oh, my dad passed. My girlfriend left me. No, when was the last time? Just tell me when. Okay. Okay. Year, month, 3 months. July. I don't need to cry. That's my birth month. Don't cry in July. Can't remember? You don't count right now. Fellas, we're supposed to cry. We have tear ducts. Never let your manhood get in the way. If we didn't have tear ducts, okay, but we got them, so you're supposed to cry. Now, I'm from Chicago. I couldn't just walk around crying. But I was a radio DJ. We played a lot of songs about crying in the rain. So when it rains, if I had something on my spirit, I would go out, cry. Can't believe it. So. Then I would go back in. Steve, what's going on, man? It's raining like a mug out there, boy. Woo! Oh, my goodness. It's raining. Ladies, and again, I try not to get in trouble because I have to say this. How many of you ladies think you're independent women? Never become so independent that you forget how to be interdependent in a relationship. Because I feel like we're at war with women now. You know, men are confused. We don't know what to do. We don't. We're like a little kid again. We just, ooh, what do I do? What do I say? How many of y'all remember Beyonce's song a few years ago, Irreplaceable? That to the left song? Women was pulling hamstrings at the club. She said the next man is going to be here in a minute. And I used to tell people all the time, I'm staying at least 2 because I want to see who's coming up in here. And he was a one-box man. All his stuff fit in one box, which meant before her, they fit in no box. Is it my fault or yours that you chose a no-box man? Just think about that, because, we get blamed for a lot of stuff. You can't blame us for the choices you're making. You like that, huh? Or you had a no-box man. Affirmation. 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 Oh, man. Okay, here we go again. I'm scared. I'm really scared. Now, well, before I do this, and I'm doing this early, pair up with somebody be one, somebody be two. And if you're if you're an odd number in the aisles, there can be 2 2s or 2 1s. Somebody be one, somebody be two. Don't put it up there yet. Where are my ones? Where are my twos? Twos, close your eyes. Ones, you're looking at the screen. Here we go, ones. You got that picture? We're okay, ones? Okay. Twos, open your eyes. Switch the picture for me. You got that picture, twos? You straight? We all good? Next slide. How many of you see an older lady in that picture? How many of you see a younger lady? How many of you see both? How many of you don't see both? Can somebody sitting next to you help you find the one you don't see? All righty. Now, some of you are not going to see this for a while. I sat through a presentation 5 times before I saw them both. And I was in a room with about 500 people. Yeah! They said, "You all right, sir? I see them." And again, it's a mental thing. I don't know why you don't see them. I don't. But just again, we look at life from different perspectives. Some of y'all had no problem seeing them pictures. Some of y'all will never see them. No matter how many times you look at, I don't see them. I don't see them. You can take them off. You can take them off. What color is this? Y'all keep saying, I don't see yellow in this at all, but okay. What color is this? What color is this? What color is that? What color is that? So don't tell me you're colorblind. You see color. But it's easy for people to say, I don't see color. And I walk into a room, it's like, wow, you don't even see me? I'm totally invisible? It's what you associate color to mean. If you perceive color as something negative, then you see negativity. If you perceive it as something positive, then you see something positive. But don't say you don't see color, because if I'd done something wrong, if I committed a crime, black, 5'8", he was a big guy. So don't say you don't see color, because we see color. We just give it a very negative association. How many of you have heard of Michael Phelps? What does Michael Phelps do? I'm a big Michael Phelps fan, and my friends know that. In the last Olympics, Michael Phelps finished 4th in his first race. My friend called me, "Your boy's washed up. He's through." I said, "Where'd he finish?" 4th. 4th where? In the world. In the world. You've never finished 4th in your house? And you telling me you all tripping out because he finished 4th in the world? Come on, man. What are you talking about? People are funny because we all come here from different perspectives, different experience, and when they mesh, it's a wonderful thing. I love to be in a full group of people just having a good time. Nothing go wrong. You just meet people you never thought you'd meet. But if something go wrong, it just mess up a day. Let me say this before I forget it too. In a high school full of idiots, one of them is still going to be the valedictorian. No, my mother used to always tell me that. In a high school full of idiots, one of them is still going to be chosen valedictorian. So don't act like you know everything. We can always learn, and we can always learn from anybody. I learned my best lessons when my kids were small, because they did things so innocently. Why do you do that? Oh, Dad, I just did this, this, and this. Wow, okay. Or somebody I randomly meet in the streets. We just start talking. You ever do that? You just randomly meet somebody and talking for 2 hours about nothing. But you had that experience. Just broaden your experiences. Again, we all fear the unknown. Step outside of your comfort zone and see how the water is. By the way, I can't swim, and I know y'all do something with swimming. My swimming teacher, and I had lost 50 pounds one summer, so I felt good enough to swim. Felt good enough to take my shirt off, really. She said, Steve, I've noticed that you never get in the water until I get here. I said, well, I'm afraid of drowning. Steve, it's only 3 feet of water in the shallow end. I said, but I could still drown. I've heard about people drowning in the shallow water. And it's so embarrassing when you can't swim because people start cheering for me. Come on, Steve. You can make it. I know. I never swam to the end of the pool. About 3/4 way, my breath would go out. This thing is rough. You can make it, Steve. Go. A couple things before I close down, and he has to make an announcement. You don't have to be great to get started, but to get started, you have to get, you don't have to be great to get started, but to get started, you have to be great. Everybody in this room was born an individual. 99% of you are going to die a copy of somebody else. Everybody in here was born an original, but you're going to die a copy of somebody else, and that's your choice. You can act like somebody else, or you can maintain your individuality. You don't have to be great to get started. I'm just really messing this up now. It's something like that. I think the altitude is getting to me again. Let me close with this. If you want to be great, recognize everything starts when you make a decision for it to start. If you want to lose some weight, you start here. You want to do whatever you're doing at the academy, you start here. If you want to ever do what you're doing in life, you start here. Great seconds lead to great minutes. Great minutes lead to great hours. Great hours lead to great days, great months. Great months lead to great years. Put enough great years together, and you have a great life. Your choice. Your choice. Thank you all. He has to tell you to ask me questions.
Ms. Birdine, thank you so much, especially for your words about affirmation, action, about being our individual selves and how we can still disagree yet still be friends. And at this time, I would love to open up to questions. For any of you who would have questions, there are microphones. Remember, we are being streamed, so going to the microphones is extremely helpful. And with 2 minutes remaining, I will call the last question, and we'll go from there. Thank you so much.
Any questions? I'm going to start talking again. The whole military and nothing.
So how, with the way the political climate is now, how would you initiate a conversation so that it can stay on neutral ground?
Well, first of all, I'd go into that conversation trying to explain to them, you don't necessarily have to agree with me, but as I said a couple of times, just to walk away with a better understanding of how I feel on this issue. Like if you're worried about kids getting killed in Florida, and they're not trying to take away all your guns, Everybody can have a pistol. A pistol for you, a pistol for you. We could be like Gunsmoke. Y'all was scared. By the way, I've never had a gun in my hand, so I don't even know what that feels like. But just try to discuss with people just from a common perspective. You don't want people to have guns that shoot 100 rounds in 30 seconds. You just, if you feel like you got to have a gun, have a gun. And I'm not, if you feel that other way at the end of the day, okay. That's your feeling. I shared mine with you. Let's go have a drink. I can't change your mind if your mind's not open. The mind is like a parachute. It only works when it's open.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm glad you didn't ask me one too hard. Any other questions? Okay. You took the long way. Oh, no, there's no other way you could have got there. Okay.
They have 2 microphones on the right side and none on the left side.
I didn't do it, man. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So my question is, how'd you get from Chicago to where you are here today?
Airplane. No. It has been a journey. Chicago, Champaign, Colorado, Indiana, Omaha, Nebraska, back to Indiana, and after 40 years, back to Chicago. I worked 15 years in higher education until I found out I wasn't a good employee. No, I'm not. I challenged authority constantly, and I was always getting into trouble. I told them I worked for students and they just paid me. That didn't go over very well. And I realized I was going to live the rest of my life on 2% pay raises they had to give to all the employees. And so I was speaking anyway. You go to conferences and give presentations. And so I then just decided that this is what I'm going to do. And I love it. I love it. I meet a lot of good people and have a good time. I get into trouble a lot, but I do. You know. But it's been a good journey. It's kind of uncomfortable now because of this altitude. I still see that thing over there and that over there, but I'm all right. Thank you.
I guess actually on that note, do you have any regrets and what have you done about that?
I can't have any regrets because I can't go back and change anything. A couple times I wish I had been a little more patient. I'm not patient at all. When my job, when what I love to do becomes a job, I left because I could get a job anytime. I just loved what I was doing, especially with the young people at the time. But I also know that negativity starts to wear on you, and I didn't want it to wear on me. And I certainly didn't want to hit the president. It doesn't go over very well. You choke the president of the school. So I left.
Fair enough.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Morning, sir. I would just like for you to elaborate more on like your childhood and how your environment was when you were a child, and like what was the most important thing that you learned from those experiences?
I was a different kind of child. I've never had a fight in my life. My brother-in-law, when I came back to Chicago after 40 years, he would introduce me to my great nieces and nephews and all that. Here's Uncle Steve. He's never had a fight. Ha, ha, ha. Like, what are you acting like that's a problem? What is wrong with you? Yeah, that's your uncle. He's never had a fight. Like it was a weakness. I grew up around people, and I played ball all the time. That's all I did. I played ball. And it kept me out of trouble. Gang members never approached me because they knew that I was doing this ball thing. And there was a time when they didn't mess with you if you were playing ball. Now that's changed. They just had a sense of he's doing his thing, let him do his thing. I was very private. My sister still tells me to this day, I didn't like them at all. I've oftentimes told them they kidnapped me from the hospital because I wasn't meant to be there. I knew I wasn't supposed to be there at a young age, but couldn't run away. I'm always fascinated by the way those of you who sneak out your house to go somewhere at night. There hasn't been a reason I had yet that would make me sneak out of my house. My mother was very angry as an alcoholic. And no, I got one spanking in my life because I'm a quick learner. I learned you don't do wrong, you don't get hit. It's a very basic philosophy. What was the second half of that?
Sorry, my second question was, what was like the most important lesson you learned from that type of environment?
That the environment didn't define me, that I wasn't limited by where I grew up. There were some good people in the neighborhood. My sister, again, my sister is my barometer. I was telling my sister I was writing a book, but I don't remember much of my childhood because I was really trying to forget it because I was trying to get out. She wrote one paragraph. I said, can you write more than one paragraph? My childhood wasn't one paragraph. But I just remember playing ball all day long. The one time I got in trouble, whooping, it was a whooping. For some reason, we didn't have the money to buy our baseball. And we stole a rubber ball from the store. And one of my mother's friends was sitting at the fountain at the store. Now, I don't know why me, the slowest person with them, but some reason or another, I'm running out the store with the ball. Drop the ball. No, the ball didn't go anywhere in the store. I come home that night, mother says, what you do today, Steve? She never asked me that because she knew I played ball all day. Oh, Ma, I played ball. Whose ball? We put our money together and bought a ball. What? She said, and she's walking up on me with her hand behind her back. And so before I knew it, she had hit me twice. Now I run to the bathroom. I'm a little beyond my years. I know if she breaks down this bathroom door, ain't no telling when we're going to get a new bathroom door. Mama, you can't afford to break this door. She said, boy, okay, bring your butt on out that bathroom. And after that, I didn't do anything wrong. Now, I did have my sister one time pretend to be my mother and come to some kind of teacher thing in my high school, because I told you my mother was an alcoholic. She would clown. I remember in the 6th grade, I was giving a presentation, and one of my friends' mother started messing with me on the stage. What you doing up there with your fat butt? Michael J. Holland bought that suit. And the principal was like, Steve, are you okay? I said, man, she treat me like this all the time. I'll be at her house tonight. I'm cool.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Sir, Cadet Candidate Party, Charlie Squadron. Sir, first of all, I would like to say thank you for being here and taking your time to speak to us. And my question is, how can we effectively utilize our diversity to improve our communities?
First, we have to recognize that it can improve our communities. The more different perspectives you have, the more different chances you have to get it right. You know, if you only have one mindset in the room, you're only going to function from that one mindset. That's why advertisers continue to get in trouble. They don't have anybody black in the room. They don't have a woman in the room. They don't have a Hispanic person in the room. So if we understand that diversity is not a deficit, it's not something that's wrong, and we should value it, again, win-win. Creating a win-win situation. The military has been one of the earliest places to recognize that. And if you really want to see it, look at sports. Athletes don't, Tom Brady don't care what he looked like, what the center looked like, as long as he can hike that ball to him. He don't care what the wide receivers, what the running backs look like, as long as they block for him. As long as they catch that ball. They don't care. After work, I don't know what they do. But it's just difficult to get us to move from square A to square B. Because we don't know what kind of country we could be if we truly maximized our people's resources. Because we've done all of this barely touching the surface.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
That was our last question. Mr. Birdine, thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, if you want those notes that I was using and I didn't get to go through all of those things, you can talk to me afterwards and I can get your information card or something. So thank you all. I appreciate it. It's been a good time. Thank you much.
Thank you again so much. On behalf of our 2018 NCLS participants, the cadet wing, and the faculty and staff of the Air Force Academy, we would like to present you with a small token of our appreciation.